Okay, let's find out if I'm actually streaming. Let's see here. Hopefully I got this right. OBS, you might be my friend. Hopefully. Okay. So, I hope I am streaming, and I'm gonna tell Twitter that I am streaming now on liveedu.tv. I should turn my Slack off for channels, that sort of thing. So let me preferences. Okay. Slack notifications are off. Let's tweet it out. And hopefully we are ready. Okay, so welcome to my project name. Ha! I think I got it working. Ooh, there's a chat right here. Okay, so let's... All right, I think we're set up, ready to go. I'm going to keep this up in case people need to talk to me. You can also hit me up on Twitter at Delia Codes. All right. So let's talk about what a capstone looks like and what that is. So a capstone is a few different things. It is user stories. It is going to be it is user stories. It is a concept. In this particular case, my concept is going to be so I'm going to create an idea just so that I can hold something. Hold this. So my idea is a tool to assist with meal planning and grocery shopping, and a grocery shopping list. And it, I guess I didn't write this at all correctly. So a tool to assist with meal planning and grocery shopping list making, vaguely inspired by a recent comment somewhere. I'm also thinking that it would be really good to provide nutritional information. The idea is that if you eat very similar things, you can get a lot of the same functionalities Blue Apron and all of these other like meal delivery services without doing a ton of like without subscribing to a service or doing a ton of like work ahead of time. Because if you make a lot of the same similar meals, like you can make the same like 26 meals or something like this over like a month, and that'll provide you variety. You're not eating a ton of things, a ton of different things, which I know some people care about. I don't. I'll eat the same thing every day, but you know, whatever. Um, I'm thinking that that may be a really good thing. So that's kind of where I'm thinking that that's potentially useful. So I want to create user stories. I want to create, you know, all these other sorts of things to go along with it. Um, I'm going to go to my dashboard, and you can kind of take a look at the project requirements, that sort of thing. So we're going to continue. Okay, welcome to the full step capstone. So the project requirements are going to be create a client, serve static files, implement a REST API, comprehensive tests for the API layer, and then use continuous integration. I'll accomplish that in this capstone. I'll be here from 1 to 6 Pacific time, or not 1 to 6, 1 to 3, and then from 5 to 7 with a 2-hour break so that I can refresh and continue. So let's start with the user stories. So user stories. User stories are one of those things where like it's like I want to do blah. So a good user story is going to be I want to use this program to do this thing. So I'm going to at least write a few things and hopefully kind of make those happen. Let me double check this to make sure I've got, yeah, MVP user stories, user flows, and then wireframes. So user stories are just something that you kind of write down, and they're a way of understanding what you're building and why you're building it. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. So let's talk about what user stories look like. So with this, I want to be able to. So user stories have like a particular formula that there's recommended to be used. Okay. So let's take a look. I think some of these are really good. What I remember of it is like user story. I want software to do blank. In some of my previous projects, it was kind of like as a power. Yeah, exactly. This is as a power user. As a user, I want to blah. So, you know, that's what user stories are. This is. I'm gonna tweet this out. Incredibly useful user stories link. Great. Easy way, blah. And I don't know about the index codes in Sharpie. I don't like this one. I mean, you know, it's good as a role, especially when you're doing enterprise software. But if you're doing like consumer grade software, it doesn't quite make sense to like do a role in that sense. Okay. Let's do this thing. Okay. I want to. Okay. As a busy person, I want to know exactly how many meals I can buy. How many different kinds of meals. I would say how many different kinds of meals I can make with a particular kind of with a list of ingredients. Actually, I think it should be the other way around because it's like I want to make these meals. So because really you don't go to the grocery store and think like, oh my god, I'm gonna have a ton of ingredients. No, it's meal driven. It's not ingredient driven. So let's switch this up. As a busy person, I want to be able to import recipes and be able to add those ingredients to a shopping list. Essentially, with this one, it's like the idea is that I want the software to be an abstraction layer and try to auto-generate like a grocery shopping list for me, so that it's like I want to make macaroni and cheese. I need macaroni, cheese, spices, hopefully some other things to put in the mac and cheese. Maybe not. I don't know. Depends on your mac and cheese, I guess. And the idea is that it's going to automatically say macaroni, or a macaroni and cheese ingredients, and then it's going to macaroni and cheese or macaroni and cheese and box, something. I mean, I don't know. It sounds kind of intimidating, frankly, but okay. So let's see here. As a person who okay, so let's see here. Okay, so we've already got the recipes to ingredients. Now, when we're talking about going from there, I want to know what my already existing shopping list. I want to know if there are other meals that my current can make. And we forgot to put as a. So let's go back to our wonderful, wonderful link. And so let's see here. As a user, I want to know. So let's see here. As a user, I can back up my hard drive. As a user, this. Okay. The only thing I forgot to put is as a user. Okay, let's add that. And I'm going to add one of these default sample user stories just so that I kind of really, I'm going to add this one because it's smaller. As like something to, when I'm writing this, it's like to get a hold of. Because for instance, this is a really big one and this is a really big one. They're huge. I mean, import recipes and then add those ingredients? Well, that's pretty big. So ideally we want them smaller and more achievable, kind of like tests. So I'm going to type sample here so that I know what I'm looking at. Okay. And then do that. Perfect. There we go. Sample up at the top. Okay. As a user, I want to know if there are additional, if there is one additional agreement, one additional ingredient, not agreement, I am missing that in my list from making in my list. Well, so the idea here to me is, and I'm gonna do some chapstick, the idea here to me is the fact that so there's going to be one additional, okay, so let's go with the one right before. I want to know if there are other meals that my current shopping list can make. that I don't have listed. I'm going to edit this real quick. That I don't currently have listed. Okay, and so really what I want to do is I want to find out, I want to capture the recipes that I have, like, I have macaroni, but I don't have cheese. To use macaroni and cheese again as an example, because it's super simple. So if I pick up cheese, you know, then I want to be able to, if I pick up cheese, then I can make macaroni and cheese. So I want to be able to find that out. If there are recipes, I could make with the addition to my list of one additional ingredient. See? How's that? Ha! Okay. As a user, I want to be able to set dietary restrictions. So that I don't have to think about non-vegetarian meals. A stretch goal would also be as a fitness interested person, I want to know if I want to be able to determine whether or not my diet is lacking any nutrition. I'll say recommended nutrition, which recommended I can never spell. And all of these seem really big right now. Oop. Which is okay, we'll break it down. And not only that, like, I mean, the nice thing about user stories, this is like a workflow for you to be thinking about what the project is about. So the idea is that the project is literally about ingredients, meals. So putting in a weekly set of meals, putting in, and then from there, generating a weekly set of ingredients. So as a user who wants to try new cuisine, I want to be able to import meals I find around the web. I find around the web easily. Okay. Could be neat. Okay, so let's change this a little bit. As a user, as a vegetarian user, okay, as a user with allergies, I want to be notified if a and here we're getting like, I feel like I'm biting off more than I can chew because we're talking about notifications and all these other stuff, but I'm just gonna write it. And I think that's kind of like what when talking about user stories, I'm just like, write the damn things. Excuse my language. Write the things, and then if need be, you'll revise them later. Because most of the time people don't see them. So you don't have to like worry about it too much. You know what I mean? Okay. So as a user with allergies, I want to be notified. And I'm gonna do, actually what I'm gonna do is two things. I'm gonna get some more space here. Whoa. There we go. That's better. As a user with allergies, I want to be able to restrict, to disallow, to not see suggestions relating to things I'm allergic to. About things that I am allergic to. Okay, I mean, I think we've got our user stories, maybe. Let's go to boards and go to this. MVP user stories, and then user flows, and then wireframes. Okay. So I'm liking this. All right. So let's do it. Okay. So let's get out of full screen here. And then let's go with user flows. Okay. I should remember to check Twitter more often. Okay. So anyway. Let's update people now, shall we? I'll say user stories drafted. In part because like we're gonna revisit this and we're gonna refine. I would actually no, user stories drafted. Say first user stories have been created. Also, I guess I forgot to introduce myself. And it's 24 minutes into the stream. Hi, I'm Cordelia, aka Delia Codes. You can reach me at, on email at me@delia.codes. And you can also find me on Twitter at delia_codes. I'm an aspiring web developer and currently going through Thinkful. This is my second capstone, and we are making a Node project. So, and I guess that's about me. Okay, so user flows. Let's do a search about that. User flow is the path taken by a prototypical user. Okay. So, I don't have a tool prepped for this. Excuse me. Let me get some water. Well, tea. I don't have a tool prepped for this, but I know that we'll probably want to use like Sketch or Figma or something like that. But yeah, I haven't actually done any research on this. Building a flow with users in mind, blah, blah, blah. Considering goals and entry points. Okay. So just in mind is a tool for user flows. It looks like SlickPlan. And then this is a sketch. Let's look with tools. Mockflow. Okay. This is the one I've probably seen before. Yeah. Okay, so the idea is that so when starting a web design project, we're often handed a design brief, branding standards, blah blah blah. Map flows into conversion funnels. The idea is that paid advertising, social media, email, organic search, and then diving into. Okay, so the idea is to kind of like figure out how people are getting to your website and what you're doing with it. This is actually really super important. So the idea is that I mean, when you hit a landing page, you create kind of the gaps of things, or you create the gaps of things. I know I'm ridiculous right now. So the idea is when you create a landing page, you are funneling people into these sorts of things. You're funneling people into your website by telling them what it is and why they should do it. This is not, I mean, I've seen this before, but this is not exactly what I was looking for when it comes to that. However, I want to kind of go, this is super useful. So working on user flows, I came across this CRM strategy and user flow article on this really very useful on Smashing Magazine. There we go. Okay, let's tweet it. All right. And of course it's from 2012, but you know, I think the important thing is that it's super important. Okay, so this looks to be a product that will do it. I'm not feeling it. Mockflow could be really neat. And then there was Just in Mind, which, I mean, why not? Let's download it. It looks like they're a prototyping tool for all screens. Templates. Okay, yeah, no. This is not gonna. Okay. So this is a rabbit hole. because they're really very similar to like wireframes, that sort of thing. So let's kind of go through and let's do some maintenance while we're kind of like working with this. And then I can kind of go through what I did in my last project a little bit more. And we can figure out that stuff. Oh, okay. I have a notification. I need to have it. Okay. All right. UX tools for wireframing and prototyping, research, and UR testing. Okay. You see, I was thinking that Sketch was going to be exactly what it should be. Okay. So this is a whole bunch of tools, and you can get stuck in like tool, oh my god, what tool should I use, and these sorts of things. I think the important thing is to not get stuck. So I'm gonna do some cleanup here. We don't want that. We don't want that. This could be useful, but it seems a little iffy. Let's look at the pricing real quick, and then, oh look, free. Run Project Max in each tool, along with other. Okay, that's a maybe. So let's do this. Let's go to my GitHub, which is github.com /Delia codes. Aaron Timer was my last capstone. It still hasn't gotten over it. I need to upload my thing, my picture. All right, so I have a ton of different repositories. Most of them are things that I'm learning on, or things that I've been learning. So let's create a new repository, because I haven't yet. So we're going to do meal planner. And we are going to initialize with a README. Description. So what do we want to put? Meal planning, and while I take some tea. So perhaps we should say like meal planning and grocery shopping list assistant. And we will definitely edit that later. Okay. All right. So initialize with a README. Yes. No. License. No. Did not mean to do that. And then we're going to click go. And we're going to open up VS Code, which, because in Windows, open folder. There we go. In Windows, Git Bash doesn't like SSL, so it's kind of a thing. All right. So let's do. Let's clone. Git clone, and then here. And then I think it's going to ask me for my passphrase. So, unfortunately, you get to be, you don't get to look at my password. So, secret stuff. So while I'm inputting the secret stuff, what we're doing here is I am inputting my password, and then we're going to clone into the GitHub. We're going to clone into the GitHub, or clone from the GitHub into the projects folder. And then from there, what we're going to do is we are going to navigate into the projects folder, primarily using VS Code, just so that VS Code is open and ready to go. Because if you navigate using the terminal in VS Code, it doesn't work very well, which is kind of, frankly, really annoying. Okay, let's go to this. All right, we're back. Okay, we are there. Nope, I need you. And I'm going to not maximize, but do this. Okay. And let's open folder. Okay. So, no, I didn't want to do that. Okay. So let's do the README. Let's edit the README, like not likes. Let's save it. Let's add our user stories to the README. And then from there, we can kind of commit that. And then, and then after that, we can start working on user flows. At least we have a good workspace. I'm really happy about that, frankly. Okay, so let's go grab our user stories. Okay, and I think, well, before we add them, let's do this. So as a busy person, I want to be able to import recipes and be able to add those ingredients to a shopping list. As a user, I want to know if there are other meals that my current shopping list can make that I don't currently have listed. So what we're trying to do is we need to figure out kind of a little bit more about an order of priority here. I think that first one is perfect. I think the second one is good. I think the second one is I want to know if there are other meals that my current shopping list can make that I don't currently have listed. I think that second one is exactly what it should be. The third one, I don't know if that's necessarily more important than, I feel like the allergies is more important than the addition of one additional agreement. And then I would put the cuisine, I want to try new cuisine above fitness. Mostly because I think that, like, the fitness, like, dietary, like, this is my diet, this is what this looks like, you know, that sort of thing is, I don't know if that's necessary. I feel like that's a different direction, and it's a different user. And so it's a different set of users. So I feel like we need to satisfy the people who are already there, I guess. Though, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong with that. Maybe I shouldn't be doing that. Okay, so I wonder if there's a way to export this entire thing. I think the answer is no. And regardless, I have to remember how to make a list. Nope, wrong thing. I have to remember how to make a list in here. I think it's like this. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, let's continue. All right, so while we're copying and pasting, trying to think. Let's make sure that there's nothing in Twitter that I need to know. Nope. Okay. Hopefully somebody's going to watch this eventually. Okay. All right. See suggestions about things I'm allergic to. And all right. I'm just going to put these for now, and then we're going to click save. And we're going to add, git add. Thankfully, we don't have anything else right now. So we're just going to do that, and then we're going to commit. So one of the things I learned is that it's important to like make a, you know, a commit message more of a sentence, and like kind of to treat it as kind of a big deal, because it is in some ways. So I have a tendency right now to use like roughed out, drafted, those sorts of pieces of language. But that's kind of like what I'm thinking about. I need some tea. So, what should my commit message be? It's a very good question. I think my commit message should be created user stories list in README. Now, eventually it's going to come out of the README. You're going to like delete it, hopefully. Oh, well, let's commit it, and then let's do this. Just assistant. And then we're going to say user stories to incorporate into the project. Okay, and then let's save, and then here we go. We're adding it, and then let's commit, and then we're going to say titled user stories in README. Okay, committed. No, these are all local commits, and we'll push them up eventually, but I'm not going to be too worried about it. Okay, so let's look at user flows. Let's kind of go back to that real quick. So I think Sketch is probably going to be really a good idea. So I don't know. It looks like it is for Apple. Figma. Ha. Okay. So let's look at the pricing real quick, just to make sure I know what it's like. Okay. Perfect. Let's do Figma. I'm going to sign up with Google. Okay, let's go through this. You don't have to start to scratch to get your work, blah, 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 and we'll powerful editing features. Creating a new file. Okay. This seems a little overly complicated for my needs. Okay. One single source of truth for your components across the entire team. Frames live. And then, okay. Wow, that's a lot. Okay. So let's go through and let's go back to what a user flow is. Because that's, I think, the key thing about like what is a user flow. User flow is the path taken by a prototypical user on a website or app to complete a task. It is the basis for a content requirement on web pages or app screens. Beginning understanding of user needs to blah 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 help the product team. For each, what is the user trying to accomplish? What is important to the user? And what will give them confidence to continue? What additional information do they need? And then examples. The user starts on the home page. So this is exactly the kind of user flow that I was thinking about, rather than like a particular like graphic design tool that Figma is talking about. The last time I created user flows, I think I really just was like, oh, it's going to be this simple thing. Okay. Well, I think that this is really okay. Let me tweet this out. No. What did I do? Okay. There we go. All right. Okay. So what should we say? I think we should say this is a really good user flow. This is a very helpful user flow definition. Okay, and let's go to my projects to kind of make sure that, oh well, I'm on there. Yay! Okay, so let's go back. This is a very helpful user flow definition. Yeah, well, let's tweet it. Okay, so let's create a user flow. Let's go back to Trello. And we're going to add a user flow card somewhere. I'm going to add a list. And if need be, we may delete it. Just because it's going to be there. It needs to be there. Okay, user stories, user flow. Okay, sample, because, you know, samples are good, especially when trying to figure out how to write something. Dope. Let's go back to our thing. Hopefully, yes. Here we go. And mind you, last time I did a project, the user flows that I wrote initially turned out not to be useful at all. Well, excuse me, not to resemble my final experience, the final setup of the app at all. But what they do help you to do is they help you to kind of get started and to kind of figure out what people are doing. Okay, so sample. Cancel. I don't want to create. I want to shift enter. Oh, okay. Why don't we do this? Let's do sample user story. And then what we'll do is we will create there we go. That formatting is better. Actually, you know what? Let's not do that. That's better. Okay. So let's go with the user. So let's say this. Okay, the user starts on a home page, on a landing page, telling them what this project is and how to use it. This landing page sets a cookie so that the user only sees it once. I mean, the other option, so because, and again, I think I may have not have explained super clearly, but a landing page is there to answer the question in 5 minutes or less, what the hell am I doing here? Like, why am I here? Like, why is this worth my time? And so really it's a sell to the user or to the potential user. And so the idea is that so a slightly more complicated landing page, so some landing pages try to like intro a project as well. Depending on how complex a project is, that may make sense and that may not. So I think the important thing to understand is that the user story is the user story is one. Oh, look, I titled it user story. This is a user flow. Oh Lord, I'm ridiculous. Okay. So okay, the idea is that we're trying to define like how the user is navigating through these sorts of things. And so because the user is flowing through the web page, and this is why it kind of makes sense to do to draw it out. But I think drawing it out is like really closely related to wireframing. And like if you're drawing it out, at least as a not necessarily professional designer, I feel like that you're already kind of predetermining what the flow of user interaction should be. So what I'm thinking is landing page number 1. And then from that landing page, you're going to go to the app itself, and with an intro overlay or some sort of intro thing. And it's possible that the landing page could have like a video intro, which might be really good. So, all right, user only sees it once. That sounds really good. So let's add another comment. Actually, let's edit these into description. Since I can do multiple lines. The user clicks a button on a landing page. On the landing page. And then is taken to the app with an introduction screen, with a tutorial screen, overlay, around the app. And again, the landing page, and so the idea is that if that cookie's set, if that cookie is there, they're just going to be taken straight to the app if they load. Mealplanner.com, that sort of thing. Okay, so what else we got? Let's go with our samples real quick. Okay, so a few different user flows. So that covers like the introductory user flow. So what about the app itself? So we've got two main ingredients, right? We've got grocery, grocery planning, or grocery shopping lists, and we've got meals. And so it's kind of like the app is like sitting at the tension between the two of them. So I think the idea is to really take it and go. How do we put this? So you have to display one and the other. You might want to display them one at a time. But I think you might also like want to view them in like two interrelated columns. So since we're doing mobile first, I think what we want to do is we want to have a user is shown the workspace. We'll define it as a workspace. User, well, because again, this is describing the flow. This isn't necessarily describing anything else. So writing, and I think the clarifying process of writing out how this is going to work is incredibly important, because it kind of gives you an idea of what you're envisioning, so you know what the hell you're drawing. So, and I kind of envision the user going around in this like 3-column setup. So we're talking about like a column here for, and I'll say, actually, let me use like a column here. I feel like, because you can't see me like that big. So a column here for grocery, a column here for ingredients, and then a column here for menu is the most interactivity that I can think of. Since we want to do a mobile first design, really what I'm thinking is something way more simple than that. For the initial stages, I'm thinking just a simple, so like let's say a mobile screen is like this big, right? And I'm tracing it with my mouse. So we're looking at a grocery list taking up the entirety of it, and then some sort of tab system at the top where you can go grocery, ingredient, grocery, ingredient, grocery, ingredient. You know, that sort of thing. And so, and within grocery, you're going to be able to or within ingredient, you're going to be able to add a different ingredient. Or within, well, I keep saying ingredient, but really it's recipe. It's recipes, or meals. So it's meal. This is really good. Okay, so user clicks is presented with two options. Meals, not ingredients, not recipes. Meals and grocery grocery lists. The user clicks a tab that toggles between these two, between those two screens, those two views, we'll call it. More tea. Okay, that feels really clarifying. Because again, recipes, ingredients, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on here. So really what we've got is we've got meals and we've got grocery lists. Okay, so it toggles between those two views. And so let's go back to our samples. Okay, and they're pretty simple. From the grocery page, list page, the user adds items, deletes items, and is able to divide items into different stores. Now that's one of the things I think is not in my user stories, and in fact probably ought to be. As a bargain shopper, you know who you are, me included, I like to go to different stores to get the best deals. I want to be able to reflect that in my grocery list. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, from the meals, from the meals page, I can select, two modes. Planning, or I don't know what else to call this mode, or simple. in planning mode, I will, the user, third person versus I. In selecting planning, in selecting planning in the, let's check Twitter for a second. Nobody has done that. Okay. Selecting, in the meals page, I enter how many meals I'm planning. Not how many. I enter, so really what you're trying to do is you're trying to have the number of meals that you're making. Like, the idea is to not just have recipes and ingredients and like that, but it's like, how many meals a day am I having and what sort of variety am I having? So it's like, there's like 3 layers here. There's like the recipe, the meal recipes. There's the calendaring aspect, and then there is the grocery shopping aspect. So really, it's selecting planning in the meals page. So it's actually possible that it's 3 tabs. It's like meals, planning, and grocery lists. I think it's 3 tabs. Oh man. Okay, so let's go with meals, planning, which is not that good of a name, I feel like. We'll say schedule. And I mean, honestly, some people may or may not use the schedule. Like me personally, if I'm cooking a meal per week, like, and then I'm eating off of that meal for all of my evening meals, I probably won't use that. But I feel like it's definitely useful for some people. And I mean, it's possible that once presented with it, I may use it. I don't know. So, the user, okay, so we need to correct our stuff, our user flows. The user can select 2 modes. No. From the meals page, the user imports recipes via links. We'll be optimistic here and say that we can scrape it and get everything we need. Imports recipes via links. Or manually enters recipes. From the schedule page. User is presented with 3 options, ever-present options. 3 ever-present options. And the reason why they're ever-present is because they're tabs, right? And so it's like, it's at the top. Because you're probably gonna want to switch between them pretty frequently. So it's like tab 1, tab 2, tab 3. Or, since I should be remembering this, tab 1, tab 2. So tab 1, tab 2, tab 3. From the schedule page, the user takes a calendar and inputs and places when each meal will be eaten and eaten and made. Perfect. Okay. So that brings up Google Calendar and other sorts of calendar importation. So I will add that. And again, this is like huge. So I'm not telling you that it's like gonna necessarily be anything. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my god, absolutely huge. Okay, so let's see here. As a planning user, I want to be able to add my planned cooking times and meals into Google Calendar. Or another calendaring software. Okay. I think we're done-ish. Though I did not describe the no, I could describe the grocery list page. So, okay, I think we're at the point where we can draw it out. All right. I'm going to delete this because we do not need it. Because we referred back to the page. Now, how do I delete you? I'm going to archive. That'll work. Okay. So, let's do this thing. Let's figure out meal planner. Okay. Okay, I don't know about you, but I prefer dark backgrounds. Though maybe I shouldn't make this a dark background. It's going to be an image anyway, most likely. Maybe I should make it like some sort of nice blue. Okay, let's do that. It's not terrible. Okay, so let's figure out how to do this. All right. So the funny thing enough is that the last time I did this in Paint. Mostly because Paint is super simple, and I was like, it'll be fine. And it looked okay, but it wasn't necessarily like the greatest. Okay, so let's do I don't entirely understand what all these things do. Okay. I kind of actually really like this. Okay, of the smallest ones, this is probably the smallest. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna do a Apple Watch. Oh, this is the frame thing. Okay, that makes much more sense. Okay, so let's do iPhone X and then um do. No. No. Okay. All right. So let's do an iPhone X and then we'll do the rest. Okay. So we had talked about doing Okay, so let's put a title up at the top. And we're going to do meal planner. And if anyone has a better title, I will gladly take it. Titles are unfortunately not my thing. Okay, text. We'll use my favorite istalk, which is somewhere in here. Oh my god, this is so many fonts right now. Okay, istalk, let's make it big. 48. Oh my god, that's big. How do you move this thing? Okay. And then we want to center it into the center. And then it doesn't need to be that big. Okay. There we go. Now this rectangle, how do I change the... Aha! Black as night. Meal planner. So, I don't know if you know about the McDonald's thing. The red makes you really, really hungry. So, I'm gonna do... Let's do an Adobe color palette before I create something that doesn't look anything like what it should. Alright. Because that's the other thing too. It's like, I will gladly go, oh my god, this is... Okay, so, no. I need just create. Compound. Complementary. No, triad. Okay, this is not my actual birthday. FYI. Maybe Adobe will think I'm dead one day. Who knows? But I don't know. Okay. very Christmassy. I mean, I kind of like a red, but I kind of don't want necessarily red and green all the time. Like red and yellow could be good. I don't know. Color themes are always hard. Hmm. So when I think of a recipe book, I think of blue, green, and red. So I guess assuming that the Adobe color scheme will let me. Let's save this as a theme. Okay. So blue, green, and red. I'm not seeing any blue, green, and red in here. Oh, that's a problem. We're experiencing problems connecting to the server. Okay. That's actually not a bad idea. So there's the complementary, right, which is very Christmassy. The compound, which is a little better. I don't like the brown, and I don't like the orange too much. There's the shades, which, ugh. Monochromatic, which is like meh. That is horrendously ugly. I kind of like this triad though. I mean, I like the blue that softens everything. And you could probably get a really good like blue and yellow, kind of thing going on with a red highlight. Or you could do red. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not liking any of this. Wonder if we could go. Let's figure out how to save that. Oh, look at that. Okay. I think I just remembered how this tool works. Seeing as how I've only barely used it, I'm glad that that's like a thing. Okay. Alright. So let's go with compound. Yeah. Okay, and then let's see if we can. Okay, so if we do compound, we're not going to hit red, blue, and green. But we can hit blue, green, and yellow. That's pretty good. I'm going to save that. I don't think I'm going to use it for this time. because I would like to incorporate red. Okay, let's go back to create, right? So let's see if we can get this one to be a pretty deep red. I think we have our theme. I mean, it's vaguely nautical, and these two color combinations, and I kind of hate the center color, but then, I mean, I don't know. I'm really biased. It's color, right? But that center theme might not be a bad idea too. Okay, so let's save this as meal planner. Okay, create new library. Add tags. No. Okay. We have our theme. I guess I download ASC. Oh. Okay. So CC0200. Okay, let's go back to our Figma. And then CC0200 is what I remember. Okay, and then that means that our text needs to be white. Perfect. Not bad. I mean, kind of looks like crap right now, but you gotta run before you crawl. All right. So let's plan our. So what I want. Ooh, you can rename them. Maybe. Maybe. Okay. Menu. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to have different. We want to be able to have the user select schedule, meal, and that. So let's type in some text. Okay, and we're gonna have to reduce this font size. Let's move this thing around. Okay. and they will be buttons. So let's figure out, okay. Okay, that looks a bit better, even though it's not entirely centered. To be quite honest, I'm not going to worry about it too much. Ooh! Line bottom. Excuse me. Okay, so. Okay, meal schedule list. Okay, so we need to create these into buttons. I am not exactly sure. I mean, I guess I need to adjust the fill of the rectangle, and then from there, using our color palette, and then from there, we can do that. I need to take a 5-minute break though, because I am fading. I'm, as you can tell. Okay, so let me switch my OBS, and I will be back in 5 minutes. Thank you. Okay, we're back. Welcome. So, if you're just now joining me, I am Delia Codes, and this is streaming my Node Thinkful Capstone. Okay, so we were creating our wireframes. So what we're doing is we are creating our mobile menu right now. Okay, so let's try to use the pen tool, because maybe the pen tool is going to be what we need. Okay, let's do that, and then do... Oh no. Okay. Well, I think playing around with the pen tool is going to be good. We only have like 20 minutes of streaming time left, so let's make it count, shall we? Well, that looks neat. Let's... okay. So, rectangle tool. Let's do it. Okay. We want a rectangle for meal. We want... Whoa! We want to create... Oh, okay. We run a rectangle for schedule, and we need to figure out the transparency of it. So, the idea... Okay, so let's move this out of the way first, and then we can create our rectangles, shall we? And honestly, it's possible that we... Okay. And let's do the rectangle tool, and that way we can figure that out. Okay. So what we probably want to do is use each of our three colors. Oh, look! That's really weird. So what's different about this one? Pass through 100%. We need... Okay, I have no idea how to make that work. Okay. Ooh! Ha! Ha ha! Okay. Alright, we've got our rectangles. We've got our thing. Let's do some backgrounds. Okay, so from there, let's say 287cc is going to be our meal. 287cc. Which doesn't look right. 2287cc. Okay. 2287cc. Okay. 2287cc. Haha. Okay. So for this, let's do red. Let's continue with that same red, which is CC0200. CC0200. Okay. Now, if we did that right, And let's see. Okay. And that way we don't actually need this. So we're going to put it over here. Okay. So this one, it's kind of overwhelming as a background, isn't it? But we're going to fill it with stuff, I promise. Actually, we should probably use one of the others. So, whoa. FF937F. Hold on 1 second. I need a 5-minute break. That took less than 5 minutes. Okay, so let's see here. We were changing that background because it's overwhelming. FF937F. Okay, let's see. Much better. Not awesome, but much better. Okay, so let's go with rectangle here. And then we're going to say, I don't think we need this. Can I just delete? Ha! Delete. Okay. So this one here. So this one we're going to choose to be 4C FFE7. 4C FFE7. Okay. And then this one, we need to make it a bit bigger. Um, 638,399. Six, 399. Okay. Not the most amazing thing, but alright. Then we need to make this send backward. Okay. Now let's see here. Schedule, meal, schedule list. Okay, so you know what? This can just be deleted. So let's create a text box per thing. Which probably should have done in the first place, but you know, I'm stubborn. That I wanted to see what we were doing. Okay. Okay, that looks good. Let's create another one. Schedule. We're gonna have to let's do it as a 32 because that's too small. Okay, and then I'm gonna put that as, and that's the other thing too. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do it as one, is because of the alignment. And okay, so meal needs to be white. Schedule, and then from here, let's do it. And then we were gonna do lists or list. And you need to be white as well. So we're gonna do white. Okay, let's figure out. Yep. No. Okay. Bah. Maybe easier to type it. Wow. There we go. All right. Except for the fact that this is entirely and completely off center. Okay, and then let's say center. Whoa, that's not what I wanted. Oh, these alignments are fascinating. Okay. I mean, they're cool, but they're not aligning with. Whoa, they're not aligning within the box. They're aligning the box itself, which is not at all what we need. So let's create the box as tiny to kind of go along with the rest. Okay. Okay, what else does this need? Well, it needs the different views. So we are specifically not designing the landing page right now. In part because the landing page is gonna, I think in my experience, the landing page is going to flow very easily from the actual thing itself. So what I need to do is we're designing the main screen. So I think the default view is going to be in the meals because it's a meal planner. So for a first-time user especially, you're going to be like, hey, what are my meals? You know, because it doesn't make sense to input schedules or lists. I mean, you could input a list, but that's kind of a little bit backwards because it's theoretically supposed to be a input your meals, the meals drive the lists, and the meals drive the schedule. So let's create the meal view, shall we? Okay, so to go with this, let's figure out, well, let's rename these things and do a little bit of cleanup first. Because this is rectangle 1. So this is rename meal menu. Let's rename as title app title. Let's rename, which is Control R. Meal menu label. Help if I could type. Alright, Control R. Schedule menu. Meal menu tab. Okay. And then this is list menu label. List tab label. There we go. And this is schedule tab label. And then this is going to be list menu, list tab. Yeah. So it's actually not, I mean, it's a menu, but you don't want a meal tab. You want to call it a tab. App title background. Okay. I think we got all our things labeled. Perfect. Okay. So, what the hell is this going to look like? Well, this is where this comes into play. Let's make it a bit smaller. I don't know if we actually need this yet. I mean, we probably will, but we should probably change the background too. So actually, let's create it as a conceptual design element as much as anything else. So let's make it a bit smaller. Because you want to give the user plenty of, like, space. Either white space or, like, color space or something. Something to rest their eyes on. So we're already using white. I think it may be, like, notice how, like, your mind gets a little bit angry when, you add the web, that sort of thing. I thought I turned off my notifications. I guess I didn't. Okay, so that feels a little bit better, doesn't it? And in fact, it's possible. What we want to do is we want to use this for, we want to make the fill, because too much color can be as overwhelming as, like, not enough color. So what I'm wondering is whether or not we need to move. We want to create something like this over here. Oh, that's better. Okay, I like it. Okay, and then let's change the fill here to be white again. Thankfully, which is so trivial to do. Oh my god, my stuff is so uneven. Okay. Better. Okay. So we've got 4 minutes. The next thing before I stop streaming, at least for a little bit, though I may go a little bit past it, we need to figure out what's going to happen. So by default, it's going to be the meal tab. Now, one of the things I think that we should do is use the background color for meal to be the meal tab. So the idea is that way the user knows what is going on. You know what I mean? The user knows what's happening. So let's go back to it. Okay, so let's create a rectangle. And what I would recommend doing is use a white background, actually. Is use a white background rectangle to, like, denote that this is where this goes, sort of thing. I don't know if we actually need a rectangle, because again, you want to kind of keep it the white background, so it's like a little bit more. And because either you want a white or a really dark background, like a black or something like that. You don't necessarily want like a super color background. Not when you've got this many color elements happening to denotate a UI design. So what I'm wondering, so let's just model this with a little text. So let's create a title, and what we're going to do is it'll be black text for now. So we need a list of meals. My current meals. Okay. Maybe I'll get sick of the word meals by the time we're done. Who knows? Maybe we'll need to rename that something else. Okay, so we're going to have my current meals. Okay. And what I'm envisioning is like some sort of UI element that is like, so my current meals is here. And then from there, you're going to go like, oh my God, okay, this is my current meals. And this is what this looks like. And, you know, this is, and you're going to click it, and then there's going to be content below it. But there's also going to be other things too. So I hope that made sense. Okay, so let's add a meals. Add a meal. Which would probably be the import, you know, sort of function. And then from here, we're going to go with what we could do is we could say manage meals. I think that would be better than add a meal, because I mean either that or I'm like going to be like remove a meal. Manage meals. And then, okay. My current meals, manage meals, and then what else do they need to do? Very good question. Okay. I think we've got it. So I want to find out if we can. I want to find out if we can create a component, like, so because this is the basic setup, right, for our mobile view. And so what we're each of these different ones is going to be like my current meals, manage meals, blah blah blah, you know, and then each of the, and so this is currently like the menu schedule, the meal schedule, which I need to figure out how I'm going to tell the user while still making it look really like, while still making it not too busy and not too like, oh my God, eye strain. That we're currently on the meals tab. So what you could do is you could change it from and use that peach color or that salmon color, whatever you want to call it, as the selected color, which is nice. So the idea is that you take the salmon and make the meal as a salmon. Okay, I like this idea. And so what we probably want to do is we want to create this as a, I need to figure out how to create another frame, I think, and then and then make it so that this is like the landing page a little bit, you know, so that, I mean, I think the idea is that you can make the landing page and then you have the menu. Like, the menu is at the bottom of the landing page or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going beyond my scope, which is why I say never do the landing page until later, because you're gonna decide weird. Okay, so the starting page, I guess, when you're talking about the starting of the app page, this is going to be probably the default, I think, is the important thing, unless I have some sort of like other view that I want to show. So I think the important thing is that it's gonna either that, or I could just have nothing in here for the starting page, and then from there I could say, and then from there I could say click meal, click this. Different decisions. And again, this is why user flows are so important. Okay, I'm gonna share. Can view, yes. Okay. No, I don't need to select frame. Okay, so I'm gonna tweet this link. Just to be out there. All right. Okay. Other than that, somebody's watching it, looks like. Oh, I think I'm watching my own stream. But regardless, I think it's pretty cool. Okay. My time is up. We are going to... I'm going to take a 2-hour break wherein I will get some very necessary things done for my life. And you can expect me back at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I hope to see you then. Oh, and remember, this is Delia Codes. You can find me on Twitter at Delia_codes. And I will be continue streaming my capstone.